Hello and welcome to the decor. As usual, when you see me here, it's all about interior designing, landscaping and decorations. Now, what we usually do is create something different and make you informative and actually get familiar with what you have at home. Now, in this episode, again, we'll bring in the architect Basima to take us another through from a different level on knowing the designs that we have in our homes, familiarize with them, but at the same time trying to find harmony and peace within our homes. Now, how do you find harmony and peace? Just stick around from now until the end of this episode. There is so much to learn about designing and interior designs in large. Now, when someone looks at this painting quickly and with the details, the rustic kind of details on the abstract painting there, someone might think that this could be a vintage design. Now, tell us about the vintage design, the quality, the functionality of it. You know, sometimes you might go somewhere and you find a certain piece which is quite old, maybe an old cattle, you know, or an old ceramics. And then you see it used in a different way, but back in the days it had a specific function, maybe in the kitchen or in the living room or whatever that it used to work. Tell us about the value of vintage design.
In fact, when we say vintage, the first thing came to our mind is something dark, without bright colors,
something
vivid,
old
without bright and vivid colors, which is correct. In fact, after the classic art, after the mannerism and another movements, the modern art started. The rupture between the greatest rupture between the classic and the modern art is the colors. So the modern art, they start to use vivid colors. So that's why when you see vivid colors, it's modern. When you see it's more darker tones, you pastel, you say, no, this is old, this is vintage, this is like classic stuff. Classic, which is here. If you look at this painting, for example, I mixed the two.
Modern
and contemporary, abstract, vivid colors. And I'm not afraid of colors, you know. People usually, you know, if I put this color with this another color, maybe it will not go together. Art is changing, you know. It's changing. Nowadays, you don't see these limits to art. It should be like that. There's nothing correct and wrong anymore. Who said that this thing should be like that? There's a very Marguerite, he's a painter, he's an artist. He painted a pipe, and he wrote under the pipe, ceci n'est pas une pipe. This thing is not a pipe. Who told you? This is a drawing of a pipe, but this is not a pipe. So the same thing I want to tell you. Who said that this should be drawn in that way? Who told you that this is wrong? Who told you that this is right? So art for me is the language of all the cultures in the world. Wherever you are, whoever you are, you can use it in your own way, in your own personal way. And these movements started in the modern era when people they don't want to follow any movement, any rigid and strict ways of using the art. It's you have to express yourself. But here, it doesn't belong. It belongs to different movements. This mixture of materials with this painting, who will tell me that this is not right? but this is beauty, you know.
Yeah.
This is in harmony.
Exactly.
This is nice to the eye. This is
Yes.
good to the eye.
Yes.
So for me, art is when you bring harmony to your home, when you bring colors to your home. This is art. When you feel comfortable at your home, this is art.
So do you think vintage looks good even at this time?
Yeah, it depends. It depends on your personality, on your habit, on your. It's a personal thing. Vintage is the classic, and everything came out from the classic
designs.
There's no classic. There's no root. There's no modern. So you cannot go to modern without understanding like the classic, the basics.
Okay, so that is actually driving me to also want to know, because now we're talking about functions, and at the same time we're talking about beauty.
Yeah.
How do we balance the two? You know, you would love to bring everything beautiful to your space, but at the same time you cannot bring everything, since what is their function?
Okay.
That's the question, right? So how do we balance function and beauty in a space? How do you help us balance these two?
The job of the architect or of the designer, of the artist, is to make your wishes, your needs come true. So if you like, I will ask you, what do you like? You like modern, you like vintage, which colors you are most into? Where do you spend most of your day? Who come to your place? You are a big family, small family, you have a lot of visitors. All these questions, I need to know like personal things about you in order to do what you like, you know? If you tell me I like this, but I will tell you this is very expensive, but I will find a way that you will like it, but it's a little bit from that style that you like, and it's possible, you know. I will not. Maybe you like something very fancy and very expensive material, but it's my job to bring your wishes, like to make them true as much as possible, you know. This is my job.
Yeah.
And to reflect your needs.
Now that can be well organized in a home, because the traffic is not too much, you know, and then it is easy to understand the characters of an individual, so that you can compose something that will suit their lifestyle, something that will suit their needs, and something that will go together with the people that he would share the compound with. Now I'm trying to imagine for a commercial area.
Yeah.
As
Commercial
a designer,
area.
how do you balance the functions of the spaces plus the decoration? Because the decoration that brings people inside a commercial area, but at the same time the function should suit every person who walks in.
Yeah. I study first, I have to take into consideration the climate, where I am designing, in which area. It's very hot. What are the seasons in this area? This is the first thing. Then I go to the culture, what people like, what they don't like, where they feel more comfortable, what do they have at their home, what's the common thing used here. And then you have to take into consideration the budget of the project, you know, and you have to make it nice in the simplest way and comfortable, accessible to all the people, and very functional, and it works, and then it will work. If you fill all these needs of the area, of the people, society, of the budget of the project, of the function, you will end up doing a good project that works.
Okay.
This is it. So even at your home, I have to mix all these characteristics together to make for you what you want.
Now, because we are trying to create harmony and bring sense to the functions of everything that we put in our homes, I want to take you back into one of the common mistakes many people are doing in Tanzania. We tend to love the trend. We tend to love the fashion. Whatever walks in, someone wants to have it in the house. Whatever is trending, someone wants to put it in the house. But last time, you told us about that so-called minimalism movement, minimalism concept. I want you to help us again on the importance of minimalism at this era where there is a lot of designs and every design is beautiful in a different way and is quite inspirational to others who wishes to have it. How do we achieve minimalism at this point where there's a lot of everything?
As I told you before, there is no something called true or not
false.
Or false. It's something personal.
It's a personal preference.
But why I'm talking about the minimalism, because it's accessible, it's an international style. This is the international, the modern style is becoming the international style with simple windows, as we talked before, with simple openings, without any arches, without any ornamentation, because it's more accessible to the people's budget, what they can afford. But you can, nowadays there is no limits to art. You can have a very modern house, a very modern interior with a painting that belongs to it's very cultural, of like maybe the subject is cultural, but the way of painting is modern. For example, you can have like a painting of a wooden door of Zanzibar, for example, with all these carving in the wood and all of details. But you can draw it or paint it in a modern way, and like more into impressionism. Like for example, impressionism, they put the stroke. It becomes different. No need to draw details. You know this is a door. You know that this is carvings. You know that this is Zanzibari, like cultural, very cultural composition, but it's drawn in a very modern style that fits into your modern interior, for example. So the way of painting, not the subject, the way of painting can lead you to a more contemporary design of your interior. The way, if you draw something with all the details or with the perfect proportions, the perfect, like, this is classic. This will not work in your contemporary world. If you put this painting, for example, in a modern, with a modern furniture, it will look, maybe you will have the same portrait. Van Gogh, for example, he did a portrait of himself, but he did it in a way with his own brush. You will not see the details, but you know it's him. But the way he painted himself, although the portrait, it was used in the classic time, it's very classical. The subject, it's classical. But the way of painting, the composition, it's modern. So you can choose any subject, any landscaping, any view, any like capture, but you can put it, you can represent it in a modern way.
In a modern way. So the concept of minimalism is actually contemporary, which is meaning few things brighter details, but simple.
Simple, yeah, exactly. Simple, functional, with contemporary, like steel structure, like glass, like marble, like stone. Yeah, the use of stone, which can be used. Like it's very functional, and it responds to
whatever that you throw it with.
Yes.
Okay. Now, as we wind up, we have seen the value of every design.
Yeah.
But the tricky question is, how do you balance the interest? You know, because there's everything. How do you manage these interests? You know, for example, by yourself. Now we'll take an example of you. What kind of design is your favorite?
For me, even as an architect, as a designer, as a painter, I like everything that has a function. I'm obsessed with functionality, with the comfortable feeling, because sometimes you will go into a space, interior. It has nothing, no ornamentation, but you feel, you know, I feel cozy, I feel comfortable. You don't know why, but it's the proportions, the heights, the width of the room, the circulation. This is what make you comfortable. This is what make this beautiful for you. This is what I'm obsessed with. And I like, at the same time, I like colors, I like art, I like painting. That's why I came up with a style that people will see on the screen, that can be functional and artistic at the same time. Because my passion for art and my passion for functionality, really I have passion for functionality. Like, and I like the timeless material. I like the quality of material. I like the material that are work for a long period and were at a specific place, and they suit very well in this place. And with the climate, with the changing of the weather, I like this. I like to respond to all of this.
Now, speaking of the functions, now as we wind up, because we talked about the inside, how about the landscape outside the house? Now, how do you maintain functionality when you're designing, let's say, a garden?
Yes. The landscape is also, it has a lot of movement also, like it's an art also. So some styles were used, for example, you will tell me I can afford, of course I had to take into consideration the weather and what work and what do not work. But some plants can be, you can put some plants, but they need, for example, more maintenance, more taking care of, more water. You have to add things, and this is more costly. We always go back to the budget. What do you want? You want the French style with this very well-designed cutted trees, with this very, you have this grass all over, and very neat, very like geometrical. Or you want something more natural. With these, you will see a plant that is climbing on a tree, or you want the trees that are, they do not need a lot of maintenance. Or what do you need exactly? Or you want a big field. So all these, it depends on your budget and what you want. What do you want? You, as a person, what do you want?
Okay, but we want to know, as Basima, how do we find your garden, perhaps? Because the thing, you always talk about the function.
I have to take into consideration who is using this garden.
Now it's you that you're using the garden.
It's me. Do I have kids? Do I have visitors? What do you do? What I'm looking what I am waiting from this garden. I'm waiting for to use it for kids to play, or I wanted a nice view, or what do I need? I try to create some shades in the garden, not everywhere, because you know here you have a lot of insects. It's a tropical weather. You want to, you can, for example, grow some kind of pili pili, you say it in here, that and mint, for example, the mint, some kind of greenery that do not attract a lot of mosquitoes. You can plant it in a nice way, like on the borders, for example, of your field, of your garden. You can add some shades, not everywhere, because you know sometimes you have you have snakes, you have a lot of you are in a tropical area, so you have to take into consideration all of this, the safety also, like the safety of the. So I will go for some shading, for a grass field, for trees that are that grow naturally and they do not need maintenance, because even I don't want to use a lot of water for irrigation, because since I have a field of grass, and I'm more into like if you want to say natural, artificial, like the mix between the natural and the artificial greenery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that can be nice. Okay,
Yeah.
now I get it.
Yeah.
All right. So that is how your garden would look like. But there's your way of how you want it to be done. But at least now we're learning from the professionals. We're learning from the designer. She's an architect. That's why she's into the designing, the details, and the je ne sais quoi, all of that stuff. Now, thank you so much, Basima. It's always a pleasure to have you on board, because we tend to discover a lot of information regarding what we already have in our spaces, but we used to just keep it there, and we don't know how or where it came from, how the design was developed. But from now onwards, at least we have a clear vision towards what we have, where it came from, and how to actually embrace the design. So if people want to get hold of you, how can people get to reach you?
I have a page on Facebook and on Instagram.
Yeah.
It's called Arcadia World, and and they can see the contacts on these two pages, and they can access, like they have the email, they have phone numbers, they can, but I'm mostly available on all emails. And
all right. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And for sharing the knowledge with us.
Thank you.
Most of us were just passionate about interior designing without knowing where all of this came from. But today you already know how things were developed, where they came from, and how you can put them together to have that beautiful, classic details of your designs, the way you put it together. But it is important to consult the professionals, because they know how those things work best together, right? So you can speak to me through my email address, which is khadija.zimbwe@capitaltv.co.tz. Make sure you stick around next time. Thanks for Levon to give you the space to sit around and have a nice chat with Basima. Until then, it's goodbye for now.